Once again, y'all, this is Detroit 313 Podcast. I got a returning visit today that want to tell her story, and hopefully we change some lives out here. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me back.
Good.
Yes.
Good. No problem. So what's been going on with your life?
Uh, Everyday struggles, as everyone has, trying to pay the bills, trying to get things done, trying to get through life like anything else. You know, it's a struggle no matter what we go through. You know, you have to learn to sink or swim, and I like to swim. I'm not going to let it get me down. I'm going to push forward, and you know, obstacles are what you see when you take the eye off the goal.
Right.
You know.
Well, let's talk about some of the obstacles that you had to endure.
Okay. Well, back at a younger age, I went and I did drugs. I said that before, and it really wasn't a lot of drugs that I didn't do other than maybe put something in my arm. The doctors couldn't find my vein, so I knew I couldn't. So I moved forward, and when I couldn't get my drug of choice, which was crack, I went to drinking. And of course, they went hand in hand with one another. I went through a rehab, and the only reason I went into a rehab because I was obsessed with a guy who paid attention to me, and I didn't realize that all the problems I was having that was part of it. I mean, I was obsessed with him, where he was, what he was doing, where he could go. It made me look crazy, but it was a lot of the drugs. You know, I got my drugs through him, and he's the one who introduced me to crack. And I was hooked, you know.
Did you get hooked the first time you did it, or
yes.
you had to do it a few times?
No. The first time I was hooked. It was the upper for me. I promise you, I sat in a car in a parking lot, and he told me how to do it because I had never done it before.
Mm-hmm.
And I took that first inhale and I let it go. And I promise you, I was sitting in a car, but it had no top. And when I did my first hit, I could see the sky, I could see the people in front of me, I could see, like I had no roof on the car. It was the most amazing high. And they mean exactly what they say. That first hit, you'll never get it again, but you'll try like hell too. And that's where all this money comes in that you spend, mm-hmm. and then you have to try to make it.
So basically, the money you said the money. So you basically chasing that same feeling again that you would never get.
Yes, never get. You'll never get it. You may stop for a little bit and then try it again. That first hit, it'll get you, but not like the very first time. Not like the very first time. I've spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars, into the thousands of dollars, you know, trying to get my high. And when I couldn't afford it anymore, I turned to alcohol because it was cheaper and it wasn't illegal, and I didn't have to worry about, you know, getting caught up in it and going to jail. That was the only thing that was fortunate for me. One of my dealers was the guy I worked for, and he was able to get me my cocaine that I wanted, and he told me that if anyone ever came looking for me, to go with them because they were going to help protect me. And I happened to be telling someone else about it, and they said, don't you dare go with them, you know, because basically I probably would have had cement shoes or not be on this earth anymore. And so, you know, we cut it out, and I never sold my body for it. I never pawned anything of family or friends. I didn't want to have that responsibility on someone else's shoulders. Others have done it, and I know why they did it. Because I walked in their shoes. So I pawned my own stuff or sold my stuff to get what I needed. So I was just kind of taught that. So I did what I could, but I went into a rehab. I got myself straightened up, and I went to my meetings, NA meetings, and when push came to shove, I had to quit my meetings because I had to go to work and I had to survive, and I can't work evenings and go to meetings because at the time I think I was probably working quite a few jobs at the time. I don't remember now because that was then. Things were a lot easier in the world. You didn't have to come up with as much money as you do nowadays, but it was still a struggle then, you know. And after that, I didn't do drugs. I had to stay, you know, clean, and because I had to go to work. I had responsibilities. I had my own bills. I have a car I have to take care of. I have gas. I have anything and everything that everyone else may or may not have. But my struggle, in order to make it for myself, I had to work. And sometimes, you know, for 12 years, I had 4 jobs. So I've learned to swim.
So let me ask you this. So in order for you to control your addiction, work really helped you beat that addiction.
It did. Work helped me beat the addiction, which gave me the money to survive, which also, it kept me busy. I'm the kind of person who lives in survival mode all the time. I'm working, take care of things that I need to be taken care of. Where there's a will, there's a way. It's the best way to put it. You know, just because somebody says no doesn't mean everyone else is going to say no. You have to give yourself enough credit to ask for some help. It's okay. You're not different than anyone else. Your story may be different in how you got to where you were. Mm-hmm. My story is different than yours, but it doesn't mean I don't understand what you're going through. It just means that, you know, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to talk to more than one person. It's okay to, you know, find out what's best for you. Who's going to help you? You need to put in some effort as well. You can't just figure it out. It's going to fall in your lap and it's going to be okay. This is what you do when you have to swim. You know, you swim, you make it work no matter what, you know, because no one else is going to be able to pay my bills. No one else is going to be able to, do what I need to do, you know, or drive me around. Everybody would have to drive me around and get me places here and there. It gets, you know, that they have responsibilities of their own to do. I can't keep interrupting their lives to take care of me. I need to move forward. So that's what I do. And you have to remember to laugh. It's okay to laugh. It's okay to crack jokes. It's okay to look at things. You always have to look at the positive. Like I said, obstacles are what you see when you take the eye off the goal. You know, I go and I do what I got. There are days when I don't feel very good and I don't want to go do something, but I have to because it is what it is.
I was told it's okay to cry.
Absolutely. You have to get rid of your emotions, you know, because every situation is different. You know, mostly we get upset first and then we cry, just like, you know, anything else. It's okay to cry. It's okay to, you know, get mad, you know, but you need to remember to think before you act and not act before you think, because your situation, you're going to look at it one way, but somebody else is going to look at it a different way. So you as a person kind of have to be in the middle, which is what I try to do. And I'm very open-minded. So I will listen to what you tell me and I will take it into consideration and look at it from your point of view. And it's not easy to do that. It's not easy to accept the fact that I look at it this way and it should be done this way. Right. I had to change my thought process. I had to look at it from a different point of view and understand that not everyone can handle something, or not everyone will see it the way I see it. And so me being more open-minded to what's happening, you know, I think that, you know, people should be more, appreciative of other people, you know. those who think that they're not a good people or whatever, we're judging these people for something we don't know. We don't walk in their shoes. We don't know what they're dealing with. So you have to kind of look at it as being a life-saving thing, just, divine intervention stepping in and telling you it's okay to get rid of your emotions. If you want to carry them on your shoulders, that's a lot of weight to carry. Really, you don't want to carry them on your shoulders. You need to keep your, deal with what you can handle. Give the rest to God. Pull him out and believe in the fact that you can do this. It's okay to ask for help. It's, you're a strong, independent woman, such as myself, who goes and does this. I lived in a man's world for 14 years. So I had to adapt to that world in order for me to survive in it. I could either sink or swim. I swam. I paid off, a 18-wheeler truck. I went to work. I did my job. I didn't just have it handed to me. I went to school. I learned how to do it. I figured it out. Things like, if you're on the unemployment line, I went through No Worker Left Behind through Michigan. And that's how I got my CDL. And that's how I got on the road, and I started learning, and I started knowing the business and started going. And 14 years later, I came off the road to help take care of my elderly mother.
That sounds to me like ambition, want, encourage, and I'm tired. And that sounds very, 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 like, man, as people can see your story, like, man, like people give up sometimes where they like I
can't do it, or I don't want to do it, and you can't blame anybody but yourself.
Ain't no room for failure.
No, you can. If you're already at the bottom, you have nowhere to go but up.
The top,
Yeah, go up. It's not going to happen overnight. Everyone wants an instant gratification. It's not going to happen that way. You have to put the work in yourself. And you're not always going to get the answers you want. Yeah. It's not going to be a, yes, I got this, but it will help you in the future because you've got the drive. You've got you've got the, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it work.
And I do, not to cut you off, I do understand that part because I interview a lot of people. A lot of people say that, I want this, I'm going to do this. Dreams are beautiful to have.
Absolutely.
But in order to turn your dream into reality, you have to work hard for it. Everybody think, okay, I want this Corvette, or I want this house, or I want this money, I want this family, white picket fence, the whole nine. Sure. You go want that.
Oh, yeah.
But when you dream it and you put it into reality, it's not really that hard.
No.
But you have to work.
Yes. It's not going to just fall in your lap. Like if you have no money, it doesn't just grow on trees. It doesn't, you can't just go pick off 100 here or whatever and then you've got money. I've had to ask for help. I've had to work at it. It doesn't come easy.
Yeah.
I put in overtime. I have done whatever I needed to do to make it work. Whether I'm sick or not, right now I'm home on disability because I'm dealing with breast cancer. But it doesn't mean I'm sitting home and doing absolutely nothing. I take care of my mother who's elderly. I take care of the house. I take care of the outside. I have to. No one else can do it. And I can't afford to pay somebody. So I have to step up, sick or not. That's my job. That's my responsibility. I'm also my mother's daughter. My responsibility is to take care of her. She's 86 and
she took care of you.
She took care of me. Absolutely. You are absolutely right. It's my job as her child to step up and take care of her.
No, we're gonna not really jumping around. So, okay, after the crack addiction, after the alcohol. So let me ask you this. So for you going to alcohol to try to see what this can do, so your first drink after smoking or whatever, being on drugs, what did that make you feel like? Was it a different?
I had to do more of it because I was trying to get the high that crack would give me.
So actually alcohol made you try to find that same
High,
thing
absolutely.
again.
It sure did. And I got to the point where I was drinking almost a gallon of rum a day just to get that high, and I couldn't get it. And so
what did you get out of that?
I didn't get anything out of it.
Just sleep, drunk?
Yeah, I was
throwing
just
up?
drunk, you know. I mean, and it wasn't like it was a daily thing I drank, but I didn't, you know, it wasn't constant all the time because again, you're gonna run out of money and you're not gonna have anything, and when you don't have it, you gotta kind of suck it up. You know, I can't just sit around and feel sorry for myself. It's not gonna do me a bit of good.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So, okay, this is a good question.
Sure.
What have you? Okay, say for instance you was married. Okay, and then you understand. You say you were single and this and that. If you was married and your husband had a good job before Chrysler, General Motors, or back in these days in Detroit,
Sure.
and he make $100,000 a year, would have kept going, or what? Like, I mean, okay, if I have more money, then I'm gonna get worse. If I have more money, or I have some kind of handout or something where I could do what I want to do, what would that have done to you in your life?
I probably wouldn't be alive. I'd probably be dead. Honestly, I'd probably be dead because things change. People want more. They lace it with different things. You know, I would probably be dead. Absolutely. Because I was going down that path. You know, if I wasn't going to get, because you know, if someone put crack in front of me right now, all honesty, I'd walk away. But I know it's there. I know what it does for me.
Yeah.
And I may come back. It depends on where I'm at in my life at that time. But I'm strong enough now to know I don't need it. I can walk away from it. Not that I put myself in that situation, but you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You don't know if you're going someplace if there's going to be that or not be that. It takes one time to screw it up for the rest of your life.
That's how we've all been children when your mom and dad tell you no, and you get a spanking, and you do the same thing over and over again. You're going to get a spanking again.
Exactly.
Or life lessons, you be like, oh, I ain't doing that no more. That hurts.
Yeah.
So you just, hey, whatever hurts you, just stay away from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like for the last 3 years, I've had my own personal pandemic. I said that. I was able to make it through the actual pandemic, and I was working, and I didn't get sick with it. So I was truly blessed. But when I came home, I broke my leg, and I didn't just break it. I broke it very well. So I was off for that. And like I said, a year later, I was diagnosed with this breast cancer, and I've been dealing with that ever since. I'm still going through treatment.
Yes, ma'am. God bless you.
Yes, amen. I am truly blessed. I can't thank enough for everything. I'm grateful for the modern technology.
Yes, ma'am.
But I find that, you know, I didn't just get through this because I'm a strong person. That helped a lot. But it helped to know that I wasn't the only one. I go to a support group. I have my own personal therapist that I'm dealing with. I have to do this. And most important thing is you need to find somebody that you're comfortable with and talk to them.
Yeah.
Who you trust with your secrets. Because if this person, you also have to get somebody who doesn't really know you but knows you. Because an unbiased opinion, all of our friends and family, oh, we love you and we've got you and, you know, don't worry, we'll take care of you. And sometimes it doesn't work that way.
That all changes.
Yeah, you need somebody who's got an unbiased opinion about you as a person and take their ability to give you some advice. Because might be, because 2 heads are better than 1.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, I mean, that's why the open-mindedness is important. Because what you bring to the table and what I can bring to the table, together we can make this work because you're going to have some kind of compromise between it, but it's also going to work it out for maybe the better. So that's what you've got to be positive. I've actually considered, I love to make people laugh. I'd love to try maybe stand up one night I'm thinking about it because I like to make people laugh. I enjoy cutting up and laughing, and laughter is very important in your
It's
life.
healthy.
It's very healthy. It releases the endorphins in your
Yes.
body.
Oh yeah.
You know, it takes some of the stress off of you.
Yes, ma'am.
If you've ever walked into a room and you felt the tension, you know, I like to break that tension because I feel uncomfortable when I walk into the room, and that's you know something's going on. You just don't know what.
Yes,
you know.
ma'am.
So yeah, you got to take it with a grain of salt and look at it as whatever it is. I'll give you a perfect example. My car broke down the other day, and I needed to get it in the shop, so I did, and it was going to cost me. It cost me $1,775 to get my car fixed. Okay, so by divine intervention, I ended up getting some money from a company that I worked for that was under a lawsuit, and I think that's divine intervention. I could be mad that my car cost me so much to fix, but I got this money from them because I paid them all this money, and then I got this money and it took care of my car. If I was gonna get mad at, oh, this is, you know, it's great money, now I don't have it anymore, I have to look at it differently. I got the money to take care of my car. Somebody knew I needed this help. Somebody knew it was gonna be expensive. And I got something in the mail, and it was my money refunded to me, which allowed me to get my car fixed. I am truly blessed. Thank you, because I couldn't have done it otherwise. So for me to look at it as, oh, I spent all this money's gone, but I still have a car to get that I can get around with. I can go places. I can do things. I can still be Wendy, and I can still survive, and I can go forward, and I can do what I gotta do, and I can move on, because that's what I have to do.
Right.
It's that constant, you know, being without a car sucks. We don't have public transportation in the vicinity I live in. I'd have to get to that destination and then wait for the bus and stuff.
Switch the buses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which again is not a problem, but then I need the money to have to ride the bus.
Well, it's Detroit. You'll freeze your behind off. You will freeze your behind off. And how long would it take to stand outside right now? Like 5 minutes?
Yeah.
And your hands froze, your feet, your face.
Absolutely.
It's cold here.
Yeah.
Sub-zero.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, so every situation is different. Yours is probably worse than mine.
But you know one thing I could say, by being like today, I was out today. Like you've been out, we go out every day. I seen people at the bus stop, and I was riding past like, oh my God.
I know.
Like how? But see, that's that determination that people have.
Yes.
And then people don't know they have that.
Right.
You know, even the people in the streets, the people that don't have nowhere to live, some of them don't have the determination.
No, they don't. They've gotten complacent in this
Yeah,
life
yeah.
that they're doing. They gotten complacent. They allowed it to run them.
Yeah. So I give up because won't nobody help me. I don't think that's the way.
No, I agree. Where there's a will, there's a way. Absolutely.
Well, now I'm gonna ask you this. Hey, take as long as you want, but tell me what the audience want to know.
Sure.
Inquiry minds. What does it take to get out here and do what you need to do? And I'm not saying just like it will in the way. I want you to explain how, why, and the reason and the outcome.
Okay. I have worked my entire life, and in order for me to move forward, I've had to learn how to survive. Yeah. And I've said that a million times, and I'll say it a million more in my head, or probably in any time I give an interview with you. I had to learn how to, do everything I had to do. Growing up, mom and dad taught you, but we're not given manuals. Okay? Mm-hmm. We don't know what's going to happen in our lives. We always have trials and tribulations. If we didn't have any of that, we wouldn't know how. Everybody would be doing it. Everybody wouldn't have to worry about money. Everybody wouldn't have to worry about having anxiety or depression or being kicked out of their homes or homeless or whatever the case may be.
To keep that thought, hold your
Yeah.
thought. If it was made that way, then everybody would be good.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Everybody would be good if they.
Everybody
if it
got
was
their
made
own
that way.
triumphs and tribulations.
Yeah, but with those, it doesn't. You have to give yourself the ability to do something. If you're homeless and you're sitting out there with a sign that says "I'm homeless," I try and help people, but if they're just going to take that money and they're going to go drinking with it, then I'm not helping them. I'm enabling them.
Or doing drugs, buy a bag of weed.
You're right. I'm enabling them by giving them the money, and I don't want to see anybody out there.
How many times have you seen that in your life? Okay, even me, I can count. I can't even count on my fingers. Because how many times have you gave somebody some money and they went straight in the store in front of you and bought a beer?
Oh,
Or bought some liquor, some cigarettes?
they would panhandle in the truck stops when
Yeah.
I was in them
Yeah.
all the time. I just got to the point where if I didn't have the money, I couldn't give it to them. I would tell them. And yes, they were scammers. They get into a Mercedes or something like this.
I saw that before too.
Yeah, they'll get into a Mercedes
A Cadillac or something,
yeah, something.
BMW. They're like, hey, you got $20? Man, I ran out of gas, or I'm homeless. I'm trying to get my kids. And then 10 minutes later, I see you pull off in the Benz. You know what? That's a good point. Hey, continue.
Yeah, so I decided I had to look at it a different way. And I told them, okay, I don't have much, but here's a couple of bucks or $5 or whatever it was. And I've gone different approaches. I said, I'll go in and buy you a meal. And then that way they've got food and they're not going to spend it. And then sometimes they don't want it. I know I don't want it because they want whatever it is they need.
Now, hold on. We got to stop again. Look, this interview, we can do this long. This is my channel.
I
So
gotcha.
I got to stop this again. So I'm going to tell you this story. I was at, I think, a Burger King or McDonald's on 7 Mile. I think it was it had either one, a Coney or something. I can't really remember. So the guy said, man, I'm hungry, man. I'm trying to get something to eat. I might have been at the gas station. I'm going to keep it short. So I'm like, all right, man, you want something to eat? All right, I know what I'm finna do. Hey, can you give him these fries? And I like, I want a hamburger, man. I'm just hungry, bro. I said, hey, give him the whole meal, man. Give him whatever you want.
Right.
So I did it. What I did, I turned back around. I ended up leaving my gas cap. It was a gas station. I left my gas cap at the gas station. I was like, oh my God. And remember what I did. So I turned back around and I come back to the gas station. It was a McDonald's something right next to it. Off the Lodge Freeway somewhere or whatever. I go back. He's trying to sell the food that I bought for him. Y'all want to buy a hamburger? I got a fresh McDonald's, y'all. Give me $3, and I'll spend $10. I'm like, seriously?
Yeah.
So that made me don't want to help people no more. But I shouldn't do that to other people.
No.
Everybody's not like that, but that is a good example.
Exactly.
I bought you a 6-pack of beer because you did ask for that, or some cigarettes, but you outside trying to sell something off what you paid for.
Right.
So
yeah. And it's a shame, but that's where people are. They haven't reached their bottom yet. They haven't allowed themselves to move forward. They live in this world. So I got to the point where some of them, I buy them food, and if they sold it, I don't know. And if I gave other people, I would started telling them, pay it forward.
But in your heart, you did the right thing.
Yes, I knew.
So it don't matter what you did for him, it's what he does with it.
Exactly. He has the choice to eat it and not have to worry about going hungry, or to get his drug of choice, whatever it is,
Well,
and
beer, liquor,
get high off of it, but he's still hungry.
Yeah.
We live that life, doing drugs and crack and cocaine. You don't want to eat, so it doesn't matter. But if you're out panhandling around someplace, then it's going to create an issue,
I'm sorry.
So I just started telling folks to pay it forward.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt better helping them. Absolutely.
You know what, now, and I'm going to tell you like this, Ms. W. The way you just said was well spoken. I say this, and now I say it now, and I laugh about it.
Yeah.
Hey, I did my part. whatever you do with it is your problem.
Well, and that's
So that don't keep your blessing from going away because you did what you were supposed to do.
right.
So
And
how
that's
you feel
another
about that?
thing. And, God is important. You need him in your life.
Yes, ma'am.
You need to bring him into your life and allow him there. I was pushed, to get my confirmation, and
Mhm.
I was raised, Catholic, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And then I changed my ways. When I got old enough and stuff, I changed my ways. I had to work. I didn't go to church. I felt like I was let down
Yeah,
by
the system.
the system itself. God, I felt
Everybody.
like everything was, at the bottom, and I'm like, I can't get up, so I had to look at things differently, and I didn't go to church. So when I got sick with cancer, didn't know how the outcome was going to be,
Mm-hmm.
and knowing that I'm truly blessed to begin with,
Mm-hmm.
you need to, look at it and go on and just, bring God back into your life, because it does make a difference.
Yes, ma'am.
It does. It makes
Yes,
a
ma'am.
difference.
Yes,
Out of all the trials and tribulations I've been through, I've never really needed him, but I've found that I do need him.
Have you ever given up on God? Where you said to
Yes.
yourself, like, F this. I don't want to deal with this no more. He's not real. Why am I living like this? Crying, just where you just like, because I have.
Oh yeah, no, I have too. Absolutely,
Like,
because I
show
didn't-
me why.
Yes, why me? Why am I? Why do I get to go 10 steps forward and you throw me back 20 steps? I believe there's a reason for that. I've looked at that now as being, a testament to how strong I can be.
Yeah.
I am a strong woman. I stand on my own 2 feet. I have 2 arms, 2 legs. I have a head on my shoulders. I have a brain when it works. I say that because of the chemo. And
Yes, ma'am.
I'm truly fortunate. It could be so much worse. Those who are handicapped and wheelchair bound and stuff like this, you see them out there, whether they're panhandling or not, they're still out. Doesn't make it, right. Could they do something different? Maybe.
No, it's not that.
Yeah.
We as human beings, we look at it like this, and we don't pay attention to the people that's worth off than us. Like, he got 1 leg, he got 1 arm, he got 1 eye. We got everything we need, and we look at them like, oh, and we still ain't doing nothing. It's like, wait a minute.
Hey, right.
But people, it's something with their mind. It doesn't work. It don't register.
No, it doesn't. And if they're doing drugs, then it's even worse, because
Exactly.
they're not in their right mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean that, again, it's a matter of time before you either go down the wrong path or it's a vicious circle. You want to do drugs, you could end up dead.
Or crash.
Or crash, or whatever. If you don't do drugs, every day you wake up is a blessing.
Yeah.
Every day you wake up is a blessing. It doesn't matter if you're homeless or not. You wake up, you're blessed.
So what would you say about the people that keep going back around the same folks who they's doing it? Do you need new friends? Do you need a whole nother set of people you deal with? Do you move out the neighborhood? Do you change your job? Do you leave out the state? Like, how?
I guess.
What's the best way to fix your life?
Well,
After
fixing your life, you need to do what you need to do. If everyone you do drugs with is all you hang around with, it's going to lead you down the path that they're going. It's not going to change. If you need to leave this, if you need to move. If you can't move, put that in your thing as a goal.
Yeah.
And don't take your eye off that obstacle. It's a goal. Get yourself doing it. You're going to do fine. Because then you'll make new friends. If that works for you, everybody's story is different. So, if you're okay with where you are and your friends are, if your friends are friends, they'll respect you.
What if they're doing drugs?
Well, if they're doing drugs, you have options. You can do them with them, or you can't, or you don't. Or if you say, look, I'm not going to sit around here while you guys do this all the time, you can walk away. You're a grown person.
So basically, when somebody try to better themselves, you walk away from that and from those people. Now they're like, oh, Miss Goody Two Shoes, fuck her. I mean, she was like, we can't do that on her, but like, forget her, Miss Goody Two Shoes. She should be with us. And you got a lot of jealous reactions when you try to walk away and leave the game, especially if you supplying and you working the way you say you worked. So you had to supply other people.
Right.
So you bought all the crack and all the dope.
I did, and then if I ran out, then they'd find a way to get it. I mean, it was to that point where I thought I was going to have to sell my body, because I wanted it, and it's not me. That's not who I am. I knew that, but the drugs made me want to think the other way, to go do this, and that some people do that. They start turning tricks, and that's their choice. Because they want the drug. But yes, as far as moving, doing what they did, and I'm sorry, what were you saying again about surviving?
Yes, well, stop not being around the people that...
Oh, stop, yes.
Stop okay.
Stop being around the people that are doing drugs. Remember, if they get up and they call you names and you leave, just remember their names. It's if you let it make you feel bad, you have to stop that.
Yeah.
You need to get up and say, this is wrong.
Yeah.
If you know you're with some people and they're going to be doing wrong, you have options. You have choices. If they're going to call you names, it's just names. It's like sticks and stones, But you shouldn't throw the stones because you live in that glass house.
Yeah.
Until you get yourself back to where you should be and back to work and doing things, don't throw stones.
Well, is it fair to say that, okay, so the people that you were around, that you were supplying, because you wanted, and nobody, I think, want to drink and smoke alone. I have never been into that situation, but would you say, like, just being fairly?
Yeah.
Okay, they left me alone. They don't bother me no more. I don't buy crack no more. I don't buy beer and alcohol or whatever y'all was drinking.
Yeah.
I don't do this no more. So are you the one that get away from the people that does that? Or are you the one that those people leave you alone because you stopped supplying?
It was more of those that I hung around with that did drugs wanted nothing to do with me because I wasn't doing it. I wasn't supplying. So, of course, I wasn't important with it. And one of the guys was the one I was obsessed with. I had to approach him and I had to tell him I couldn't see him anymore. And he came back with no big deal. And I really thought that he cared for me and stuff like this. And I was way wrong. It was just a convenience.
But if he said no big deal, that means to where he was like, well, you trying to quit, you trying to get off of this. I'm trying to keep y'all on here. Now, he was a drug dealer that was giving you all the stuff that you was paying.
Well, yeah, he could get it.
That was your boyfriend? Okay, yeah.
Well, he wasn't. I thought he was. He wasn't.
Right. Yeah, of course. He's a liar and he's trying to get money. You use money to him because he knew you had a good job.
I enabled a lot of it because I wanted to fit in.
Yeah.
I enabled a lot of it because that way they paid attention to me.
Yeah.
So I had to learn that was actually considered enabling.
Mm-hmm.
What I thought was right, because my heart was in the right spot, my head was up my butt. Okay, I had to really just stick with friends that I had around me that weren't doing the drugs. Now they drink and stuff like this, and nobody pressures me. They all know my situation. Nobody.
You know what you want to do.
Yeah. And if they, I don't hang around them anymore. I'm not around any of those. I don't drink and I don't do drugs, not because I used to do it or I can get addicted to it.
You don't want it.
I, first of all, don't want it, can't afford it. And then second of all, you always feel like crap the next day because now you're hungover, or I'm too old for that. I'll be honest. I can't do that every day. My body's breaking down now. I can't. If I continue to do something like that, I'm not going to be able to continue to go forward. I'm just going to start going back down, and I can't afford to do that.
So hey, we're gonna wrap this up too. Hey, I really enjoy your interviews. Will you come back again?
Yes, I'll come back again.
Where you at? Detroit?
Detroit 313 podcast.
All day, man. Thank you so much, sweetheart. But we're gonna wrap this up. But let me ask you this.
Yeah.
As encouragement, as someone that been through the things that you have, what would you tell these young ladies out here with these kids? I mean, and men. I'm not gonna say ladies and men, because I do interviews with men and women.
Okay.
What would you give me a message? Would you tell them, like? Because I don't know if crack's still around or anything. It probably is, but I'm not really sure.
Not as prevalent as it was back in the 80s. It is, but then you have to be more conscientious because they lace it with fentanyl or something, and then you're dead.
But you got more stuff out here too, as far as like X-Pill. I don't know if that's pills still relevant out here in the world.
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, me neither. But what would you tell? Okay, to try anything. Alcohol, that's legal to sell in the store, but if you could tell one message to these kids and these young people out here, man, don't do it. Like, what would you say? Like, don't try it. Leave it alone.
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
It's only going to take you down the wrong path eventually. And some people try it and they don't like it. Okay, but don't let it run you. You need to stay positive for yourself. You can do this. Stand up, take control, dust yourself off, and move forward. Make a goal for yourself. Something simple. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I need money to move out or do whatever. If that's the case, then put your eye on that goal. Give yourself time to walk away and say, okay, I can do this. You can push forward, make new friends, laugh about things, get it off your chest, cry, do whatever you need to do, but then pull yourself back up again, dust yourself off, and say, okay, it's an obstacle, but I can get around this. It'll be, it's never instantaneous like we want it, and that's what we want. We want it to work out now. We want it to go now. We want it now. And that's, like going into the car lot and buying a brand new car and going home with it that day.
That feels good.
Yeah, that's instant gratification because it worked just the way you wanted it to. And life throws us curveballs constantly. So you have to look out for those curveballs, but you also have to allow yourself to move on. It's okay. And don't
hit that. Don't just stay on first base or second. Get a home run.
There you go. Keep striving. You're going to be okay. Be honest with yourself. That's another thing. You need to be honest with yourself. Is this really what I want to do in my life? Is this really what I'm only capable of doing? We only use a part of our brains. We have a whole bunch of stuff we're not using, and we can use it. Like I said, there's a will, there's a way, and I feel like a broken record when I say that. But just because somebody said no doesn't mean it's going to continue that way. Keep going forward. Keep asking. Ask anybody.
Knowledge is king.
Yeah, exactly. Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
And it's just knowledge. I much rather have the knowledge and not need it than need it and not have it. And that's really all that comes down to. You just gotta be positive. Laugh. Look at it. Put the shoe on the other foot for a minute. You don't know what people are going through, and just push forward, stay positive, find someone you can talk to, doing stuff like this podcast with you is actually therapy for me.
Yes, ma'am.
It's therapy.
I'm glad you're here again. It's our second video.
Yeah, this is therapy for me.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not any different than any of you. I don't look at this as like I'm, feel sorry for me. I don't need you to feel sorry for me. I need you to take care of you. I need you to stand on your own 2 feet. I can help by doing these podcasts and giving you positive affirmations. It does work.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I pray that all of you see this and that you put forth the effort. If you have any questions, hey, send them into Detroit 313 podcast, and we can touch base on that.
So, okay, we're going to close it out. I keep saying that.
That's okay.
I'm like Columbo on that TV show. Like, okay, well, one more thing.
You're right.
But if you could turn back right now to the 80s and 90s, 70s, the late 70s and all that, what would you change?
I don't think I would change anything, to be honest. And the reason I say that is, it's made me who I am today.
Yes, ma'am.
It has made me who I am today. It has made me stronger.
That's my same answer.
It has made me more positive.
Yeah.
It has made me a better person. I look at and deal with things differently every day, and I try to, help people. I do right. And you know what? My life is less turmoil. I don't have to worry about that anymore. I have a lot on my plate, just like everyone else does. Mm-hmm. I just don't have the burden of the negativity on there anymore because I had to survive, but it's made me a better person today. I wouldn't change a thing.
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Well, y'all, there we go. Detroit 313 podcast, man. Well, Miss W is back. I don't see her whole name. And she will be back again with another message. Y'all keep watching her. And she's doing something big right now. And we behind the scenes or whatever, doing something to get our own channel. And yes, sir. Hey, man, here go another one. Detroit 313?
Detroit 313 podcast.
All right.
Again.
Until next time, y'all.